is New Orleans Talk Network. It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe LaPinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Stan Schofield, and I'm inviting all of my KWK family and my family to watch Church Without Walls, 11 o'clock on Mondays, for the greatest and latest show around. Thank you.
Kick it for me one time.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the New Orleans Talk Network, and we're here this morning, as Charles would tell you, to knock down some walls, to open doors that have not been opened to you. The message that you received from your church this Sunday should have had some extensive meaning to you. Let me just say that there was a message preached on Sunday which says that it's not over till God says it's over. That was the title of the preacher's message. And he did a wonderful job about showing people that some things that happens in life is not over until God says it's over. His point was well made. And there are some things that's happening in this world that we don't realize it's not over until God says it's over. And it's up to you to be committed to doing whatever it is that God have assigned to your hand to do. And as long as you're committed, God is with you. For his word says, never will I leave you, nor will I forsake you. So we're here this morning to knock down some walls and open some doors and try and get some of the ministers in the church to understand that there are programs out there that can be useful to the church, that can be successful in the church, and that can help the church to grow beyond measure. Our topic for discussion this morning, let me say this. We do have a host panel this morning, Ms. Janice Sanders-Bennett. And she's going to give you her biography in a little bit and let you know what training she have had to be able to sit here on this panel and talk to us about some of the things that can be useful in the church. The thing that we will be talking about this morning is the 501c3 in related to the tax ID number, which makes the church exempt. And we will try to give you as much information as we can on that to help you in the event that you decide that you would like to go out and see about qualifying for a 501c3. And we will try to give you that information this morning. Want to say also that Deacon Charles is not here this morning. He's out of town. And so I'll be sitting in by myself this morning. And, you know, Charles have a way of opening things up for you. But in any event, he's not here this morning, and we're going to try to carry on in his absence. The topic for discussion this morning will be the usefulness of a 501c3 in our churches, how it can help the churches, especially the churches who are attempting to grow. Every church wants to grow, but there are some things that can help the church to grow even further than they are now. Ms. Bennett, can you give us a little bit of your biography? Tell us about yourself.
Yes.
Good morning, Reverend Williams, and good morning to you. As he said, my name is Janice Sanders-Bennett. I have 26 years, vested years of healthcare experience, also entitling the 501c3 consultant experience. My healthcare years of experience consist of 13 years of as an organization member of the National Association of Community Health Centers, better known as NAC. I sat on 7 different medical boards on the national level. 13 years of service on a local board, medical board, as a board secretary, later becoming the board chair. A former local business owner of a personal care company, a business consultant to local churches and community health centers. Currently, I'm a junior at Southeastern University, pursuing a degree in health system management.
Okay, now, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch with you?
You can call me at 985-662-4820, which is my personal cell, or you can email me at sandersbennett@gmail.com.
Okay, Ms. Bennett, we've heard a lot of confusion about the 501c3 and how it is that some ministers feel that they don't want to get involved with the 501c3 because of governmental issues. What would be your statement to them this morning? How would you address that question?
I first would like to say, noticing I look at a lot of my notes, I get so excited about the subject. I want to make sure that I'm going to give the key points. So therefore, if you allow me to. Now, according to the IRS, in answering your statement, Reverend Williams, according to the IRS, churches that meet the requirement of the Internal Revenue Code 501c3 are automatically considered tax exempt and not required to apply or obtain of tax exempt status from IRS. Now, it was back in February 27, 2013, that this new policy was brought about. Before then, churches was considered tax exempt, as I worked along with your church, along with others, churches was considered tax exempt. And if they wanted a 501c3, that was another step to do so. So automatically now if you are in good standing as a church with the state, you are considered tax exempt in 501c3.
So prior to that, the church had a tax ID number which made them tax exempt.
Yes.
But since 2000
February 27, 2013.
Okay. They more or less combined the two? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, what happened was the federal government recognized as a church, they were already considered a charitable organization. They were already doing these steps, and they were already classified under the IRS code to be a 501c3, because before that you receive your company through the state of Louisiana. Then you had to contact IRS to become a 501c3. Well, IRS already has recognized the fact that they are within the code. So therefore, they are carrying the 501c3 status within that tax exempt status.
So what you're saying is that they already carrying the qualifications. Is that right? They already had the qualification of becoming a 501c3 because they were tax exempt.
Yes. Not only because they were tax exempt, because of the fact that they were tax exempt, correct, and the structure of their company. And I say company because to IRS, we're a company, but we are under the ecclesiastic stage. So therefore, even though in having a church, you must be registered through IRS. So that terminology is likely used.
So the majority of the churches do have a tax ID number.
Yes.
And if they don't have one, how do they go about getting one?
If they do not have a tax ID number, you would want to check to see if you are in good standing and qualify as a church under Louisiana Code. If you do not have a tax ID number, there are several reasons you may not have one. And those are that is what you want to make sure that you do have. Because if you do not, you are not being taxed, you're not tax exempt. Are you truly a church in the eyes of the state of Louisiana?
Okay. So, would it be to the church be beneficial to try and get a 501c3?
Well, as I stated, there is a 501c3 portion of the tax exempt. However, there is where they can receive an additional 501c3 if they decide that they want to do a special type of program. And I'm just going to name a few. A literacy program, tutoring. If they want to open a nursery, they find within their congregation that there's a lot of babies. And when you see a lot of babies and young people in church and belong to your church, and they're going off to college and they're coming back and then starting their own family, you are a growing church. So you would want to consider doing and putting programs in place that your members can benefit from, because they're either going to get it outside of the church through another organization, because the funds are possibly there that can help your church being good stewards, your congregation, and bringing more others outside in, and not only hearing and administering to the soul of man, also to the physical part.
So basically what you're saying is that each church that want to implement programs within their church, as far as a tutoring program, as far as a nursery, as far as a feeding program, it would be beneficial to them to try and, if they're a growing church anyway, if your church is actually growing. And I think one of the things that most ministers may not realize is that if you're taking care of the kids, it will draw the grown-up. They will gravitate to where their kids are being taken care of. And so when you start looking at establishing a 501c3, that's in addition to what you already have. And it's actually going to cause a growth in the church, because people will look at the fact that, okay, my kids go over here and they have a tutoring program, their grades are increasing, their knowledge is being enhanced on different things, and that's going to help them to become better fit for society, better fit for college, better fit for acquiring a decent job. So we need to get the churches involved in these benefits. Let's face it, people take advantage of what's available to them. So as a church, we need to start taking advantage of what's available to them. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to get ready for our first break, and then we'll be right back.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce,
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce Sr.
and we're from Living Witnesses Ministries.
And we also have a program on the internet called Living by the Word Daily, and we're seen every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we would like to invite you to tune in with us every Wednesday morning, again, 11 to 12 noon Central Daylight Time. Please join us as we teach the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
We're back. I want to give that number to you again and want to entice some of the ministers and some of the individuals out in the community who feel like they would like to try and see what they qualify for, profit or nonprofit organization. And that number you can call is 1-563-999-1808. And we have a caller on line 1. Caller, go ahead.
How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
How's everything going, Pastor?
It's so far so good. It's working out. As the song says, working out for my good.
Well, all things work good for those who put their trust in the Lord. So you know how that goes.
Exactly. Who do we have on the line this month?
My name is Trinity.
Okay.
Trinity Smith.
Okay.
And I was calling in because I'm not a church per se, but I do from time to time speak with other young brothers. But just out in the community where we're from right now, they don't have like a big presence as to for the younger kids as far as like the Boy Scout type things where we take the young fellas out and introduce them and help them dispense their energy into other things that could probably brighten their horizon. So as I have a music company, I am licensed with the state. I do have my tax ID number and everything of that sort. But oftentimes when I'm in conversations with people who are doing business and into those type of things, I hear them talk about the 501c3 and about the nonprofit. So I was just wondering, as me having the type of company where I provide entertainment, where I go out and speak to people of things of that nature, how is it possible for my company to establish a nonprofit to where I could donate to the community and build tutoring things and build things that apply to literacy and build programs that not only apply to the physical man but to the soul of man as well as Ms. Janet mentioned before.
Good morning, Mr. Trinity. And I want to say to you, congratulations on what you're doing. And
thank you.
I'm going to say that your ministry and God has placed this within you. I can hear the passion. Since you already have your company, what you can do is call IRS. Well, go online and to IRS. And there is a test that they're going to administer. And that test consists of 2 parts. And in that test, if you answer the test within the part where they feel that you are within the guidelines, then you are granted that 501c3 status, which is called a 501c3 bond. And then therefore,
okay.
I'm sorry?
I said okay.
And so, therefore, then you can continue to work and enhance the ministry that you are already doing. Now, if you would like, the nonprofit formation form is called the 990. And before starting this form, look over it carefully. And therefore, you can, since it seems like you're doing some awful things and combining them, to make sure that do you need are you going to do it be a foundation? Or are you just going to focus on one thing? And it doesn't sound like that's what you're going to do. You're going to combine it. So therefore, write your program. Do your who, what, when, and where. And therefore, when you answer this, it's going to give you a strategic plan on how you're going to implement your program, and therefore giving them a format. So when they look through this, you won't be there, but they'll know everything that you're thinking and everything that you would like to do, and therefore be granted the status that you are seeking. Does that sound, am I making myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you're not comfortable in doing the steps, you can get a consultant as someone as myself. You can either get an attorney or maybe someone else, Reverend Williams, that may be familiar. And then if they're not completely familiar with the entire form, direct you to where you need to go in answering. But make copies, do snapshots of the questions online, and then fill them out, and then place them. Then go back and fill them out online, and then have it submitted.
Okay. Miss Janet, you mentioned your number earlier along with your Gmail, but the phone was breaking up and I didn't catch it fully.
Okay.
So I just wanted to see if you could reiterate that number over to me.
Sure, it's 985-662-4820.
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
That answers.
So as far as like say like within the city, I also run a transportation company, and with the transportation, we are all the time we are transporting the kids that participate within those school systems. There are a lot of kids that wind up on suspension or behavior disorder type where they wind up having to go to another school. So I just was thinking, if just like on a bigger level of how we could really work with these kids and these parents to not just throw them away to society because of whatever behavior disorder, but instill some programs where we can find resolutions to how to break them through out of their circumstances. Because, you know, at a lot of rates, a lot of these kids is just falling to the wayside, and there's just a lot of talent within our group that just goes unknown and unrecognized because of just certain issues that they may encounter in life, and it's just not a lot of information as far as if they had drug programs and stuff like that that were really beneficial to the people that were partaking in them, and not just beneficial to the people who were offering the service.
Well, as I was listening, you were coming in and out, but I'm going to see if I can answer from the larger portion that I did hear. What you can do, once you become a 501c3, you can, I suggest and recommend that you contact the local schools, the local school boards, and see how you can maybe have a dialogue with the counselors of the school, because there are counselors that are working in the schools that are having the issues that you speak of. So therefore, taking a quick survey of the different agencies that are assisting these students, unfortunately, that are not getting the services that you would like to provide or incorporate, contact those different agencies and to see where and how you can link yourself within or help place and become a part of that program. And I'm sure it'll be well welcomed. Now, because of the HIPAA law, they're not going to be able to give you the names of the students, but what you can present your bio. And I want
Okay.
to thank you for calling, Mr. Trinity.
I thank you for the information.
And if you would like, you give me a call, and I on today, and I can finish. We can finish on discussion.
Okay, we
Yes,
have
I
another.
really would like that. I really would like to do that because it's kind of going in and out, and I hear a lot of stuff you're saying, and I'm jotting it down. But I think we have a better conversation more directly here.
Okay, Mr. Trinity,
Okay.
thank you for calling. We have another call on line 2. We thank you for calling, and we don't forget us. Call back again. We'll still be on the air. Okay. Call on line 2. Call on line 2.
Nobody.
Hello. Hello, Claudette. Volume's going in and out. We're breaking up. Okay, so we seem to be having a little audio difficulty. Ms. Janice, can you tell me how many different types of 501c3s do we have?
We have three main structures of 501c3. They're the public charities, which the church falls under. They're governed by a board of directors, and no more than 50% of the board of directors might be related to each other. We have the private foundation, or sometimes called a non-operating foundation. This type of 501c3 does not have any active program. And then we have the private operating foundation, which is the least common of the three, similar to a private foundation, but they also offer active programs and much likely a public charity.
Now, under the 501c3 that most the church would be qualified for, what advice would you give those churches?
As I said, the churches are considered 501c3. My advice as a steward of the community, a good stewardship, and how it impacts your church, remembering and taking this in mind, implementing a stewardship program, which we broke program that we just spoke of, similar to what Mr. Trinity was speaking of, and this demonstrate accountability for managing your funds, reviewing financial reports. All this is important to make sure you that you remain and start, well, I should say start and remain in good standing with IRS. Because again, if you want to do a separate program, might I add, that you seek a separate 501c3 under this program, and therefore you would only be geared to the structure, to the type of program within that 501c3.
Now, when you form a 501c3, if you're soliciting funds from a organization, there are some guidelines and some stipulations that goes along with that grant, right?
Yes, if you're now seeking funds would be the type of fund, first you want to identify the type of fund that you are seeking. Then you want to implement the program. You want to make sure you have dotted all your who, what, when, and where, who's going to do the program. When is it going to start? Where would the program be held? These are similar to a business plan. So therefore, when you present it to the organization, which foundation you would like to, they will have a roadmap in where you are heading. So therefore, in seeking the funds, you would have a better opportunity in receiving those funds, but also understand that if you're trying to start a company to be a 501c3 only on grants alone, that is not considered a feasible company. Starting a 501c3, you want to start with your base if you're a church, the ones within your church that who would like to donate. And then you go out to the private foundations, private businesses, and let the grants be the second, I should say the third source of funding.
With each grant, that you stipulate and that you partake of, there's always going to be some stipulations within that grant, and we'll cover that as we return. We're ready for our second break. Got to pay some bills, and so we'll be back in a few.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
Programs and the different types.
Okay, we're back, as Charles would say. We hope that you're watching us, and we want to invite some people to call into the studio and ask some questions. You have someone here who can give you the answers. So we hope that especially some of the ministers would call in and take advantage of what's being made available to them at this time. I want to say also that they will be honoring Deacon Charles on May the 19th, 2019, at 3 p.m. here at Bethesda House of Prayer. As you know, Brother Charles is one of the people that's out in the community working, trying to find different ways to help others. And it would just be a blessing to him if you would come out on the day that they're going to honor him here at the church. And for many of you, you watch Pastor Johns on YouTube, and he gives a very refreshing sermon that tries to meet you where you are today. So I want to ask that you would come to the church. Also, I'll be there. I serve as the executive pastor. So please come out. And as I said, we're honoring Deacon Charles on that day, which will be again May the 19th at 3 p.m. And for those of you who don't know where the church is, it's 7601 West Bank Expressway behind Step Construction Company. The insurance company is right there in the front. The church is in the back of the building. We have good accommodation. We should be able to hold somewhere between a of 150 people. So please come out and share with him on this day that we're going to honor him for all the work that he has been doing in the community. That number again to call the shore is 1-563-999-1808. Appreciate your call. Hope that we're giving you enough information to try and help you to help the church to grow a little more than it's growing right now. Ms. Bennett, can you tell us a person that's trying to that want to establish a 501c3, what would be the primary step that they would take in attempting to put this in force?
Before you can start a 501c3, a nonprofit, one of the most important things you can do is to take the time and figure out what is your purpose. What is your purpose and what is your program? And then after doing so, you go after the who, what, when, where, how, and why. Why are you doing this? Who is going to do this? Will it be you, or will you bring in to the plan or consider outside help? The picture is to ensure you are to be successful. Your next, where are you going to do it? Will it be locally, regional, national, international? What program, what plans are you going to put in place is actually functional elements that are going to help put in place how you can accomplish your organization purpose. Now, in doing so, once you have the plan, you want to make sure that you give your idea, make sure that it's feasible. Does it have the strength to stand the long haul? Each program should have the ability to 2 to 5 years. And the sustainability has to be identified. So therefore you can move forward. Once this has been done, you're well on your way. Then you put together your board of directors. And in the suggestion with your board of directors, you want to go with ones that are going to help you execute your goal, that can see what you are seeing. It would be your vision, or whomever putting it together, but then it would be someone else's, I would say, dream. As the Bible says, young men have visions, old men have dreams. So therefore, you don't want to omit the ones that can help you get to your next success. So these are the plans that I recommend. This is not limited. This is only just to give you a few.
The implementation in which he instructed us to do when we were forming the 501c3 for Little Zion Baptist Church was that first we had to get a group of people who were willing to work with that 501c3. In getting those people together, we had the pastor to act as the chairman or the president of the board until a president was elected. And once the president was elected, the pastor stepped down and became a person to be a chairperson on the advisory board, so that no program would come to the church without the pastor having to know about it. And as she said about a person that has a vision, Reverend Ernest had visions for the church. So we took his vision and we implemented that vision into our goal and what we were going to work with pertaining to the church. After you done that, you want to make sure that you take minutes of that first meeting that you have. with the group of people that you're getting together, so that all that becomes a part of the paperwork that you're going to send into IRS, where they see that you are not just playing a game, or you didn't just take something off the top of your head. You've actually researched it and find out exactly what it is that you want to grow in the church. You can wind up putting maybe a nursery in the church, and have someone back there to monitor what's going on with that nursery while service is going on. So when babies start crying, they're in that nursery, so it's not a disruptiveness in the class. You can have a tutoring program that's going on in your church, maybe 2 hours Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. And that will assist the kids. You can have computer classes. And then you can have someone to, say for instance, when you pick up your collection, you can pick up a collection for that particular program, but then you can go out and research other entities. If you had a feeding program, what was that website you were talking about that you could get them to?
You can go through the Department of Health, Human and Hospitals, excuse me. There's a free feeding program through SNAP, which was formerly known as food stamps, and the feeding program for after school that they're already doing so. You can contact them and see if there are grants available. There's many resources out there. If you want to do a feeding program, I'm going to give you another that maybe many would not even think of, and I'm sure probably many will, and a few will. The Department of Agriculture. You can also go on their website to see what type of fundings are there and that are available. And there are different types. Once you implement your plan, you will want to ensure that all is placed in order, and therefore all fundings that are available there, you have the opportunity to receive them. Now, as Reverend Williams just said, if your church decide that they want to pick up an offering and donate it, now that would be one 501c3 donating to another 501c3. So therefore, once you receive that funding, the church would be able, since it's a 501c3, can donate to its own 501c3. And making sure, in doing so, if you're going to do programs and activities as such, you want to make sure that there is no conflict of interest. So either you would want to have an attorney, you can have them on retainer if you have a church that can afford that, or you can have an attorney, possibly if you have an attorney within your church that is willing to donate some time and give you a few hours a month or a few hours a week that can help you as you go along with this. But there is I'm going to say do's and don't with the 501c3 status bond, and that you want to make sure you want to have that as your second book of implementation, therefore not knowing your first book of implementation, so therefore making sure that you stay within the guidelines. So it's not all the time what you do, is how you do it. So therefore, making sure that you are within the guidelines at all times.
Ms. Bennett, you spoke about, I think I heard you say that, about having someone to administer the program. Is a CEO at one time, I think you told us that we could have a CEO that would have to be a certified public accounting or bookkeeper.
Well, let's speak when we had it you did so at Lausanne. You want to put in place someone that is familiar, is going to be there to be able to put the program in place, that's going to oversee the program. And when you say CEO, that's Chief Executive Officer. Now, another you want to make sure you have in place is I'm not going to say a bookkeeper, but a chief financial officer, and someone that has knowledge with nonprofit programs. You want to have in place a treasurer. So you want to have, more in place a secretary. So therefore, making sure that all of these three important positions are there. So at the end of the year, when statements are need to be given, they are given out properly, and what needs to go to the IRS will go to the IRS. What needs to go to your employees will go to the employees.
Okay. So that person who act as the CEO, that person gets salary, and that's authorized by the board.
Okay, speaking with the board, once you're speaking once your program is in place, yes, the CEO, that salary is given by the board. Also knowing with the board, now you want to keep within the guidelines, and there is a website that tells you and give you instructions and ideas on salaries. The board gives the CEO salaries, place the CEO salaries. The CEO in the company places all others' employees' salaries. The board is the CEO's boss. The CEO is the company's boss.
So, to most of the ministers who are listening to the program, if you are listening, when you start thinking about church growth, you want to make sure that you're putting a program in the church that's going to be beneficial to the church, and a program that will cause families to gravitate to where their children are being given other curricular activities that will enhance their knowledge, their wisdom, and their understanding. And if you can do that, I think you will be successful with the 501c3. We're ready for taking our last break, and as soon as this break is over, we'll be right back with
you. Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Well, what's up, everybody? This boy, Coach Hurricane here. You can follow me on Facebook at Henry Singleton or on Twitter at HenryHayoU15.
Listen, this is your boy, Fred. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook at Brandon Fred Jones, or you can follow me on Twitter at BFredJones.
This is Jeremiah Gray, man, with G Sports. You can follow me on Facebook, Jeremiah Gray, AKG, and on Twitter, G_paid-in-full-08.
Pay me the money! money!
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us, because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
My wife did. Time to stand up. Exercise.
We're back, as Dr. Charles would say, we're back We hope that you're watching us by YouTube and on your smartphone and all of the other stations that we have. The New Orleans Network is New Orleans Talk Network is made readily available to you so that information can be given to you. Keep in mind that we'll call Church Without Walls, and Church Without Walls means that a lot of people look at it as praising. You go into church to praise God. You come out of the church to worship Him, to do the work that He assigned to your hand to do. And I got one more question for you. We're going to have Ms. Janice to explain that to you, the difference between a 501c3 and a tax ID number.
The terminology is used to describe the trade and professional association can be confusing. The two are generally organized and operated as both nonprofit, the 501c3, and the tax-exempt status. Now, the tax-exempt status entitled nonprofit status refers to incorporation status under the state law. Tax-exempt status are referred to federal income tax exemption under the Internal Revenue Code law. So if you are, again, and to recap, a church, and that is in good stand and recognized as a church with your 501c, you are a 501c3 that has a tax-exempt status. Also ensuring that putting in place all 501c3 of each program that you want to implement within your program. As Reverend Williams said, this will be beneficial to your program. Now, another I didn't mention in my bio, I am the daughter of a pastor, which is pastor over 50-some years. I am the mother of 2 Baptist ministers. I am the sister of a pastor. I am the granddaughter of a Baptist minister who's now deceased. And I say that I fully understand the concerns, and I've had firsthand why some ministers would be leery of bringing the programs into the church under the 501c3 status. But again, it is out there. You are a 501c3. Putting proper ones in place would only make sure that you would succeed within that 501c program. You're already exceeding as ecclesiastic, but there's funding out there for the nonprofit. And remember, and I've heard my father say, the first 5 years of a child's life, they will learn more in those 5 years than they ever will as they continue to grow. So therefore, if we as the church will be able to implement and be a part of that first 5 years growth, imagine how much above that we can stand within the community.
So remember that we're all honoring Deacon Charles on May the 19th at 3 o'clock at 7601 West Bank Expressway. Please come out and show him your appreciation. He does do a lot in the community, and he does help a lot of people. He's always on his job. Also want to say to those of you who are listening, as we come down to our close, we're getting ready to close. As Charles would say, there's no such thing as being half dead. If you're dead, you're dead. My brothers and my sisters, hope that we've given you enough information. Hope the information has become valuable to you. Hope you will use it to your advantage. Hope you will talk to your parishioners about it. And hope that it will become something that you will take an interest in. So until we meet again, God bless you. God love you and I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
God bless you.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.